Okay.
All right, so we
Cool.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Backmarkers F1 Show 2021 Bahrain Grand Prix qualifying live stream watch along. Here it is currently 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time in Ottawa, Canada. So good morning, good afternoon for some of the other viewers around the world, or sometimes even good evening. Very pleased to be along with you for this live stream pre-show of the qualifying session, and then at 11 a.m., the top of the hour, we will be alongside for the first qualifying session of 2021. And to help me cover all the action, I'm really excited to bring in my co-host, Tyler McDonald, all the way from his comfortable new home in Ottawa. Tyler, welcome, and great to have you along.
Thanks, Chris. No, appreciate it. It's the first F1 race in the new house, so we're trying to get the setup figured out and have everything sorted. But so far, the mock setup is not too bad. So it should be a fun little qualifying session after what happened in FP3.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to go through a little bit of the FP3 results first, and then we're going to get into our predictions for obviously the qualifying. With not too much time, actually. There's less than a half an hour to go until qualifying, so it's going to go by really quickly. If you guys are in the chat room, just say hello. Let us know where you're watching from around the world. We're going to get to some of your questions and comments in a little bit time. But Tyler, let's first go through what was a interesting Free Practice 3 session that just concluded not too long ago. And really interesting because same story as we had in the first two practice sessions the whole weekend. It is Max Verstappen topping the timing sheets with just an incredible lap. Basically, in the last 15 minutes or so of Free Practice 3, put in an absolute stormer of a lap to go 7/10 quicker than Lewis Hamilton. He was the first driver into the 1-minute 30s with a 1:30.5. So Red Bull looking very, very strong as we head to the first qualifying session of the season. The time frame for the Mercedes sandbagging is starting to run out a little bit, but what do you think about that lap in FP3 and just overall his weekend so far?
I mean, it's been picture perfect for Max so far, sweeping all three practice sessions and really getting a good grips on his Red Bull Racing Honda so far this season. But like you mentioned, if Mercedes is sandbagging at all, that's got to end quickly because the qualifying is up next. I mean, 7/10, that's a lot that Max has up on Lewis and the rest of the field. I mean, the next would be third in is Pierre Gasly, the AlphaTauri, with a second behind Max Verstappen. But it'll be interesting to see how that correlates into qualifying times and everything. These times with the new tires and the 10% less downforce are about so far 2-3 seconds slower than what they were running last year. So and that's been a big struggle so far with the Mercedes from what Toto Wolff has been saying, and the whole rake issue, how they had such high rake last year, and how that basically was not banned, but further reduced for this season to try and help bring the playing field pretty even. And so far, it looks like it's done a pretty good job. But maybe now it'll be Red Bull's time to shine, or Mercedes just are swerving us, and they've been swerving us the last 2 days and in testing, and come out and go a second a lap faster than Max, just to really punch us in the heart, just really screw with us.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, it's going to be really hard for me to hide my disappointment or disgust, quite frankly, if it ends up just being another Mercedes 1-2, 5-7 gap or something like that. But I actually don't think that's going to happen, and we'll get to our predictions in just a minute. Just a further run down the order, Valtteri Bottas, of course, was fourth, 1.2 seconds off the pace. He was really struggling, not only in this session, but also the first two sessions of the weekend, just complaining even yesterday that his car was just undrivable, and that seemed to continue today. Max's teammate Sergio Perez, obviously off the pace from his teammate. Long runs, very strong looking so far for Sergio, but definitely he's going to have a lot of work to do to get into that one-lap pace. Another standout, actually, in Free Practice 3 was the two Ferrari-powered cars, Carlos Sainz in 6th and also Kimi Räikkönen in 7th. Now, it's rumored that Ferrari is running the engine mode a little bit higher in practice sessions, so this will be really interesting to see where Ferrari end up. But Carlos Sainz, after a tough testing, was really looking strong so far in this first weekend of the year.
Oh, he really is, and that's very good for Ferrari because Charles Leclerc did not have a great practice session, down all the way down in 11th and 2 seconds off the pace. But he seems to be getting familiar with his Ferrari very quickly, which is impressive. Now he's used to this. He shuffled around a lot of teams, so he's used to having to learn a new car very quickly, and he's seemed to know it pretty well so far. We'll see how that correlates again into qualifying. But you mentioned Kimi Räikkönen. He's been, in my opinion, the most impressive so far in this first three practice sessions. I mean, 7th in FP3. He's been fantastic the rest of practice. And for an Alfa Romeo team that may not have the greatest car, Kimi's really wheeling that thing. His teammate Antonio Giovinazzi is about 3/10 behind Kimi, all the way down in 12th. So better so far from Alpha, but we'll see how they do. Can they get out of Q1? I don't know. Maybe one car if they really push it. But we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, for sure. We'll get to your questions in just a minute, guys. I just wanted to wrap up just the final results on Free Practice 3. McLaren, a little bit further down the field, 10th for Daniel Ricciardo, 16th for Lando Norris. He had a lockup, which saw him tumble down the timing screen, so we'll see what McLaren can do. And then Fernando Alonso of Alpine, also in 15th place. And Tyler, you mentioned this off the top of the show, and I'm just going to show it here because I just saw that it popped up on a Twitter feed here, was Aston Martin and Sebastian Vettel once again really just kind of having a difficult weekend and a difficult session. They've got just some really weird things that are happening, and this one as well that just happened. Something flew off of the left front of his car, and he had to box and just really didn't get much out of that run, and especially just in the performance runs as well. Vettel's still struggling to get the car in. But yeah, Aston Martin just not exactly off to the start that we would have hoped.
No, not at all. And I mean, this was an issue during testing as well, how he didn't get many laps in his Aston Martin. And, he's been with Ferrari for so long, learning a new car. You think that learning period would want to be as quick as he can, get as many laps in the Aston as he can to be familiar for the race. But it just seems everything's going wrong at the moment for Aston Martin and Sebastian Vettel. We'll see how he does in qualifying. I'm not optimistic that he's going to get into Q3, spoiling, I guess, my predictions. But I hope he does because I want to see that Aston Martin team do well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Did anyone figure out what the piece was that fell off of Vettel's car? Was it a piece of the sparge board or sideboard or?
I'm currently scrolling through Twitter, but I don't see anything reported as to what it was. But yeah, possibly maybe something from the side barge board area. But it did hit him in the face in the visor, actually. So
we just got to make sure there's no Mercedes following, so he doesn't have a massive piece of
like last year.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Okay, so that's a wrap up for Free Practice 3, and really now it's time to get to the real business, which is, of course, qualifying. And this is when all the gloves are going to come off, where we're going to see the true pace of everything. And I think that it's going to be extremely, extremely exciting and also very close as well. So I just wanted to get to some of the comments and the questions in the chat. The Thornhill Club asks, what is Nicholas Latifi's ceiling in your opinion?
The Thornhill Club, a fantastic golf course in Thornhill, Ontario, north of Toronto. Play that soon. So maybe if I answer this question, I'll get around in there.
Go for it.
But no, it'll be interesting to see what Latifi does. I mean, it all depends right now on his Williams. He needs to really improve on his Saturday. Of course, Mr. Saturday, George Russell, is his teammate. So good in qualifying. We've seen that all throughout his career. And Latifi has struggled during qualifying. You would hope that he gets out of Q1 here. I know he's supposed to be working a lot on the qualifying during the off season and the one lap stints, but it's his race pace that's fantastic, and we've seen his lap one skills and how he can overtake so many cars on lap one. He just needs a car behind him now. As terms of his ceiling, it depends how far the teams believe in him. If he gets a seat, it'll be hard. Does he get a seat at another Mercedes powered team in the future, like an Aston Martin, like a McLaren? Who knows? But right now, for Latifi, it's his second season. He's really just got to hone in this season on improving from the qualifying last year and showing a little bit more of his talents and moving up the grid in what is so far a better Williams car than what they've had over the last few seasons.
Yeah, agree with you there. I think that was well said. Okay, moving on to the next one. Park B says, I'm not sold on Ferrari power unit that is, until we see their pace in a few minutes. Carlos definitely looks more comfortable in the car over Charles. Yeah, definitely I would agree with that, Park B, and we mentioned this in our podcast, Tyler, a couple days ago previewing the 2021 season, that I'm not as optimistic with Ferrari as I was maybe in the preseason, as I was after testing, and so far in these first couple of days in Bahrain. So let's see what their pace is going to be like in qualifying. If they can get both cars into Q3, obviously that's going to be a good starting point. But I think that it's a bit surprising to see Leclerc struggling a bit more actually in that Ferrari. Now, is that because they're on different run plans, different programs with fuel loads and engine modes? I'm not exactly sure. But yeah, we'll find out very soon what is exactly going on with Ferrari.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully they can. You would think that they want to have at least one car in Q3. Charles doesn't seem too comfortable with the car so far this weekend, so I would think maybe Sainz has the better opportunity to do that, but I'm not sure if it will be possible or not. Of course, F1 needs to have a Ferrari at the top of the grid. That's just F1. You need to have a Ferrari. You need to have that red prancing horse up near the top of the grid winning races. So it'll be nice to see that happening again down in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. E-Coaster says, just for reference, last year's pole was a 127.2, so it'd be interesting to see how close we get to that.
I'll make my prediction as the pole lap. The best lap will be a 129.3 then.
Okay. I'm going to say it's a 129.1.
Okay.
Teresa says Lewis is the GOAT. Yeah, he definitely is up there for sure in the conversation, and we'll see if he passes the GOAT this year in terms of getting his 8th championship. Let's see what else we have. Shabit says, make a prediction about today's best of the rest. Well, that's a prediction that's probably going to be the hardest. I mean, I think everything will be the hardest, but let's do it then. Let's get right into our predictions, and we'll start with we're probably not going to go through a top 10, but I'm going to give you my top 3, Tyler. And then we can go from there. So I think that pole will be Lewis Hamilton. And I'm half saying Lewis Hamilton just so I don't curse it and then it's, Red Bull or somebody else. And then I think Max Verstappen will be second. It'll be extremely, extremely close between the two, I think. Third place, I'm going to go Lando Norris in third.
Oh,
Valtteri Bottas in fourth. And Sergio Perez in fifth.
Okay.
And then I'll get to my midfield after your top 5.
Okay, so I got my top 5. I got Lewis Hamilton first. I think he's had pole over the last few opening races, if I'm correct. I could be wrong.
I think other than Abu Dhabi and of course Sakir that he missed, but yeah, I mean he had pole here last year.
Oh, I even meant just like opening races of the season, like in Australia
yes.
or whatever.
Yeah,
the last few seasons. I could be wrong. Probably am wrong. But second, I've got Max Verstappen. Third, I have Valtteri Bottas. Fourth, I have Sergio Perez. And I have Lando Norris, P5. So same top 5, different order.
Okay. So I think that after the top 5, it's going to be really interesting to see where it plays out. But I think that probably we're going to see Ricciardo slot in as your best of the rest there in that McLaren. I think that it's really tough to tell because I'm curious where Aston Martin is going to land. Mm-hmm. Like, are they going to be ahead of Alpine or are they going to be ahead of Ferrari? It's really difficult to say, but I think that if you're going to rank the midfield, McLaren are going to be best of the rest. But I think your dark horse and the team that you're going to have to watch out for is AlphaTauri, because Pierre Gasly was third fastest this morning. Tsunoda's been looking good all weekend long. That entire AlphaTauri package has been strong since testing. So I think don't be surprised if maybe AlphaTauri sneaks in as the second best of the rest, or maybe even slotting in there fifth or sixth.
I mean, I was going to mention how the six I would have um, Pierre Gasly.
Okay.
I think it's possible. Seventh, I was going to have Daniel Ricciardo. Eighth would be Yuki Tsunoda. Ninth would be Lance Stroll, and in 10th, I have Fernando Alonso.
Yeah. Okay.
So, I mean, that's my predictions, but I think both AlphaTauris get into Q3. They've looked fantastic.
Yeah, I would agree with that too. They've looked really strong, and I think that they're both capable of getting into Q3. I wouldn't be surprised if one of the Alpines don't make it into Q3. Alonso has been struggling. I mean, the car looks okay. It doesn't look as good as it did in testing, and that might just be with the different plans that they were running. But nothing that sort of makes your hair stand back on the back of your neck like Verstappen's lap did, or some of the AlphaTauris. So I'm curious to see where their pace is. Now, further down the order, I think it's more easier maybe to predict who won't make it out of Q1, and I believe that will be the two Haases, of course. And then I think that it'll be interesting whether the two Williamses, at least one of them, I believe Russell will be able to get out of Q1. Latifi, I think this will be a big test for him as the first qualifying session. Let's see if he's made any improvements in the offseason in order to get, A, closer to Russell, like you said, and then B, of course, out of Q1. And where the Alfa Romeo is going to slot in, too. I mean, I just have so many questions now, because this is going to be extremely, extremely close. We saw yesterday in FP2, all the way down to, I think it was P15. They were separated by 6-7 tenths of a second. I mean, it's extremely close.
Yeah, it really is. For me, I have the two Williams, the two Haas's, and Antonio Giovinazzi missing for this first qualifying session. But I mean, who knows? Like you said, it's been so close over the last little bit that it really could be anyone. There could be a curveball in it. We never know with red flags or yellow flags. It's screwing up people's laps. That they get a spanner goes in the works of qualifying, and we have a surprise or a maybe not predicted Q2 participant due to some sort of weird scenario like that.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to also factor in wind conditions. And the other thing as well, too, is we're going to be heading into, of course, the evening session. So track conditions will be much cooler than they were for Free Practice 3 and, of course, obviously Free Practice 1. So it's going to be very interesting to see which team is going to suit the conditions, or the conditions which is going to suit the team the best, and who's going to come out on top there. So very excited for that. I see Magic Skates has joined us in the chat. Hello to you. Good morning. Magic Skates was, oh, Jesus Christ, already coming through. I was about to mention, Tyler, you weren't with us in the testing stream, but Magic Skates was kind enough to give us a super chat donation, and he just been kind enough once again to do it. So thank you very much, Magic Skates. He says, been eagerly waiting for the stream, so pumped for the race weekend. And yeah, man, couldn't agree with you more. I've been really excited to chat with you guys once again, to have Tyler here as well, so he could enjoy the stream along with us as well. And yeah, I mean, it's been just an anticipated wait to the start of this season, and the fact that we're less than about 12 minutes out is very exciting, because I have no idea what's going to happen, and I think that we're genuinely in for some very, very close and exciting qualifying sessions, which I don't think that we've seen the like since probably at least 2018, I would say.
Yeah, I'd say that too. I mean, we've had some hype last year, though. I mean, last year was fantastic with all the midfield hype, but no one really predicted how many teams would win a race. So this year, it's great to see how much things have shaken up a little bit with the rule changes that F1 has put in there, and it's done a lot more than I thought it would. But again, we'll see during qualifying. Mercedes might pull one out of the bag. Magic Skates, you're a legend. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm pumped to be on this stream with you guys. Hopefully we can do this more down the future, because this is a lot of fun to have you guys in live watching as well, asking us questions. Of course, we're no experts, but we're fans just like you guys, and it's fun to talk along with you as well. Yeah, Magic Skates also says love that Aston Martin hat. I do love that Aston Martin hat from Chris. It's beautiful. Good stuff this year.
Yeah, apparently, let me see which side it's on. I think it's on this side. Yeah, if you guys can see it. Apparently, Sebastian designed his own logo himself.
Oh, good for him. Look at
Yeah.
him go.
Yeah, so it's I like this hat very much. It fits me a lot better than the McLaren one. The McLaren one I think is a better quality, but it doesn't fit me as well. This one is a perfect snug fit. So it must be because it's a Fettel design. So thank you for that, Magic Skates, once again. And yeah, we're gonna have a great time here. Coming up on about 10 minutes to go until the first qualifying session of the year. Basically, how it's gonna work is we're going to have the stream up here. Tyler's going to have it, of course, in his home, and I'm going to have it in front of me with the screen as well. We're going to try and kind of let you guys know in terms of where we are because it's not going to be the same for everybody watching. So if you can possibly maybe pause it and sync it up with where we are. If not, we're probably going to have maybe a 20, 30-second delay here or there. So excuse us if we're commenting on something that you're not seeing at the time, but it will eventually hopefully catch up, and maybe we'll kind of do a little bit to our throwback in our broadcasting days, Tyler, with play-by-play and color commentary here.
That's right, back in the day. I'll show you my temporary setup because I'm pretty pumped about it. I got my new 60-inch 4K TV set up down here, and I'm gonna swivel my computer around because it's on a bar stool right now.
Oh, nice!
It is my temporary setup, but there's Paul DeResta. He's looking good. So yeah, it's right in front of me. So I've got everything kind of ready here for everyone. Hopefully you can see that half decent. I did an okay job.
Yeah, look good.
I looked all right.
Good idea with the bar stool.
It just ended up being that way. It's a temporary setup until I actually get my computer going.
yeah. Well, we do what we can. Yeah, no, it looks good. Magic Skates is asking, what's the price on those? I think it came out to around $60 Canadian. Magic Skates and then plus the shipping as well. The shipping is what kind of gets you is I think it was about 12 euros or something like that, which I believe comes out to around close to $20. But because they're shipping it from the UK to Canada, it's pretty pricey in that regard. But I had some money saved up for it, so I was able to treat myself in the preseason. But I found that ordering stuff actually usually from the Netherlands there's a lot of taxes that you have to pay. I remember when we were ordering some stuff from the Red Bull shop a couple years ago, there was a lot of import taxes and fees that you had to pay. So, but it's about the same price as you would pay really at the track. So yeah, if you're interested in that.
I always find it's tough ordering from Europe. I just order a lot of soccer stuff from Europe, and it's the import and it's the shipping that sucks. They have 25 euro or 20 euro jerseys and it costs the same amount to ship it. So it's like, what's the point?
Yeah, seriously, it's tough. But I think it was worth it in this case. Let's do a quick update then on track conditions that they're reporting right now at the Bahrain International Circuit. They say track temp is 35.7 degrees Celsius, which is actually pretty hot.
Yeah.
Considering they're going to be under the lights. Wind is only 3.2 kilometers per hour, so not that much, but they are expecting very high winds for Sunday, which should be interesting. And then air temperature 30.4 degrees, so very, very warm actually, even as we get into the evening session. So keep that in mind.
Oh, Valtteri Bottas's helmet is phenomenal looking. I haven't had a good look at it this year. It looks fantastic. That's up there for one of the nicest on the grid.
Yeah, I'll see if I can find that for the stream here.
They're just showing it on TV there. So.
Oh, okay. Oh, here's an interesting tweet here from I guess this was just on Sky Germany. Helmut Marko said that they turned up the engine in FP3 while Mercedes didn't. He says it's going to be a decisive battle between Max and Lewis. So maybe that explains the 7/10 gap, but I think it's still going to be very close in the end.
Yeah, I think it will be pretty close. That is interesting, though, that if they did turn up, do they only have 7/10 extra? Was that full power, or was that, saving a little bit of juice for qualifying? And I thought that they weren't allowed extra engine modes now. What was the rule on that?
I was thinking about that just yesterday, but I believe that they carried it over from 2020, so I think that they can't change engine modes after FP2, I believe, or 3. I'm not remember they changed that last year and then we never really heard about it because Mercedes just dominated anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
So yeah, I don't know, but very interesting if that's the case. Yeah, lights are coming on then in Bahrain. It's getting close, coming up on 5 minutes until the first start in the first qualifying of the season. I think afterwards, this qualifying session and the race, it'll be a little bit easier to make predictions going on into the next couple of races. But this is usually probably one of the most exciting qualifying sessions of the year just because of the so much uncertainty.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially at the top of the grid now. Usually we would be pretty confident that Mercedes were going to be win 1-2 or 1-3 or something, but I don't know if they'll get pole this race. It'll be interesting to see. I'm really excited. If you haven't watched our season preview and our predictions, then go watch that. We did a season preview. It came out yesterday, I believe, or Thursday maybe. But it was a fun podcast to have with you and to get the season going. And maybe our predictions will look silly after this qualifying session, but I'm pumped.
Yeah, 100%. And currently on my stream, they're already rolling the opening credits or the opening.
Yeah, I've got that too. I've got that in my ear as well.
So it looks like we're roughly about the same time.
Yeah. Yeah, did you hook it up so it's in my headphones too?
No.
Oh, it is. Well, that's great.
Oh, is it actually?
I have my TV on mute.
Oh, okay. Perfect. Yeah, then we're not going to get into any feedback or anything like that, which is good.
No.
I wish we could play some of that opening music on here. I just love that music.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll see exactly when the session time lines up, but we have, of course, our live timing ready to go here as well as soon as they get underway. Hopefully we'll have some access maybe to some of the team radios as well. We'll be able to just feed that in here while we watch.
I just realized that, I ignore the message I'm sending you because I just realized that I had David Croft on very loud on my computer. So that would be why it was playing the opening graphics.
Yeah. All right, coming up to 4 minutes to go until the start of qualifying. They're just rolling through the track information right now, guys. If you are just trying to maybe sync up where you are in the stream, they're currently showing turn 1 back in 2016, Bottas versus Hamilton, back when Valtteri was with Williams. I forgot about that.
Yeah, there's some sort of instance you forget here, of course, though. This was fantastic. Hamilton Rosberg in 2014 that they're showing. Kip Viz asks, can I watch quali here? You can't. We are not authorized to do that. Otherwise, we'll get copyrighted pretty quickly. So wherever you can watch qualifying at your whatever country that you live in, I recommend watching it there.
Yeah, unfortunately, we don't have about $30 million or whatever the broadcasting rights cost is.
You can definitely watch qualifying and listen to us, though. That's what we want to hear. Oh, I don't know if you saw that. That was Lance Stroll going upside down.
Oh, yeah. I saw that just before. Yeah, that was last year. I forgot about that, too, because of obviously the Grosjean incident. But
that's right.
Yeah, that was crazy. So current track conditions, they're reporting air temp 30 degrees, track temperature 35 degrees. So it's roughly about the same as it was as we reported about just 10 minutes ago or so. Here's another interesting thing, too, Tyler, that we just didn't mention, but just saw it now as they're showing the tires. The soft tires looked very, very tricky in that FP3 session and kind of difficult to last through the entire lap. So I'm wondering if, almost like we saw last year in Silverstone, where they end up qualifying in Q2 on the harder tire to start, obviously, the race on a medium at least, and maybe even Q3 they go out on the medium just because the tire won't last the entire lap. I don't think that's going to happen. I think we'll still see Q3 runners go out on the soft, but I do expect the majority of the top teams to go with that medium tire in Q2.
Yeah, I would expect the same, but I would think I could see a Mercedes or a Red Bull, especially Red Bull, because they like to play with the strategy and play mind games a little bit. I could see them going on a medium in Q3 to see just maybe what I can do. Maybe do a two-lap stint and then come back in and put a set of the new softs on to do one lap at the end.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys, we're coming up to 1 minute, 20 seconds left until we get the green light for the first qualifying session of the season. As soon as we get we got a question here from Matthias. Is there any live timing? Yes, you should be seeing that now in the middle of your screen. Of course, we've got no times or of course, no cars out on track yet. So as soon as the data keeps flowing, you'll see it updated in the middle of your screen, and we will try and provide also updates from Twitter or feed in some team radio if we get it as well here.
Just to look, Chris, I don't know about you, but I've got my back markers mug going here
Yes.
with some fresh brew.
Same
So
here.
that's nice.
And I've let's see if we can put this on the stream. I don't know if people will be able to see this. I've also got one of my new Alonso coasters as well. So I'm all set to go here for this stream.
Nice. Love it. Look at that Alonso coaster. It's nice.
Yeah, I like the colors.
Yeah, they did a good job with that one.
All right, we got a green light.
Wolfie is asking, are you streaming the race? I don't think we're doing a live stream during the race.
Not for this one, yeah, no. But that's another good idea that we could do for future races.
Yeah.
All right, so we got the green light is out of the pit lane. We've got a Haas, we got the Williams, and it looks like the Alfa Romeos are already queued up as George Russell heads out onto the track. So here we go, Tyler. First qualifying session of the season is currently underway in Q1. Just for a reference, my timer here is showing 17, 37, 36, 35, 34, 33, just to give you guys a reference.
Hey, you're a second ahead of me, so it's
nice. That's not bad.
Wow. No, and I'll help everyone. I've got live data on my laptop that I have set up, and I'll also, if there's any yellow flags, I have the driver tracker set up as well, so I can see who is off maybe, and give you guys a quick heads up on that as well. So I'll try to provide as much insight as I can.
Excellent. So there's Mick Schumacher currently on the screen. Mick Schumacher's first qualifying session as a Formula One driver. Very excited to see what he can do. He's been having an okay and a solid weekend, much better than his teammate Nikita Mazepin. We got currently 4 cars out on track at the moment, and George Russell already on. It looks like he is already on a flying lap.
How nice is it to see that MSC back on the scoring screen? So fantastic.
Yeah, it's nostalgic, and I mean, it still kind of hasn't set in a way that we're watching Michael Schumacher's son in Formula One. Isn't that crazy?
It is crazy. It is crazy. I mean, does it show our age? I don't think so.
I don't think so, because I mean, he's very young too. What is he? 21 years old? 20 something like that?
Yeah, he's only a few years younger than us.
Yeah. Oh, it looks like we got some team radio here from George Russell. I don't know if maybe this was played on the broadcast, but let's have a listen here.
So stop short of the red line.
Okay, so that was just as he was exiting the pit lane. Okay, Tyler, here we go. The first hot lap of the season. George Russell currently heading down into turn 1.
Look at how low that Williams is sitting on the straight, sparking everywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. And very interesting to see the low rake or the high rake concept, which will be the most successful in this 2021 season. He was very clean through turn 1. Let's see as he goes through turn 4. Yep, very good on the track limits. Remember, they are enforcing turn 4 track limits as he sets a personal best in the first sector, of course, his first lap of 29.7.
Latifi's gone a 10th faster in sector 1, 29.6.
Very interesting. This is really where you can make up the bulk of your lap time here in Sector 2. Russell very clean as he heads down into Turn 10. Decent rotation, no lockups with the DRS open heading into Turn 11. Of course, Sector 2 is really where more of the downforce comes into play of the car and where the driver can really extract more performance instead of Sector 1, which is just mainly straights. Let's see where Latifi will be able to do in his Sector 2.
Yeah, 40.4 in Sector 2 for George and a 41.6. So Latifi had some sort of issue there midway through Sector 2, it looks like.
As Russell rounds out the final corner and he's boxing, so he will not complete his time lapped. Interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. I wonder what the reason for that was. Latifi also coming in the pits.
Yeah. Okay.
Yellow flag, double yellows.
Oh, and looks like Mick Schumacher is off the track in
It's Mazepin, I believe.
Mazepin. Well, we've seen a couple of that this weekend for sure.
Yeah, so I have Nikita Mazepin off. So that will ruin his lap and his set of tires. He's yeah, like you said, he's had a couple spins so far this year. And Mick Schumacher's going to continue his lap. He went 40.2. He beat Russell's time going into sector 2, and obviously goes quickest, 1:33.8 for Mick.
So Schumacher currently the only driver to have set a time so far, as we are just coming into about 5 minutes so far into this session.
Anyone taking a picture of the MSC at the top of the leaderboard? Just ignore the no times for the rest of the crew.
Yeah, exactly.
And interesting, no one else on track as well. So
yeah, just got some team radio here from Latifi. Let's see what he has to say.
Hard stop 10-11.
Yeah, my rears aren't coming up as easy as we thought, so I gotta push harder.
Very interesting. So Latifi says that the rears are not coming up as much as they thought, so that he has to push a little bit harder on the outlap. I'm wondering if that may be the reason why he boxed, and could we be seeing maybe some drivers coming out on the harder tire? Maybe they're waiting for better track conditions?
maybe Mazepin just said that he lost the rears on his spin. Of course, that tricky little section. So maybe the rear is having an issue, which is interesting because the track temp is very high, and now we're seeing a whole slew of cars come out.
Yeah.
Let's see. We have Sainz, Raikkonen, Leclerc, Giovinazzi, and Norris coming out. Also, both Mercedes and George Russell in for a new set of soft tires. So for his second run.
Yeah, getting very busy now. It is, I think Lando Norris is leading the queue, as Max Verstappen is just coming out onto the track as well on a brand new set of the softs.
The Alpines are coming out.
All right, now it's finally getting busy.
Yeah, here comes everyone. So this will be tricky to keep track of, but we'll do our best.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll try and go with, of course, what the live feed is showing. But this will be very interesting with a lot of cars out on track, trying just to get the right gap as well to complete your lap. And Max Verstappen currently at the back of the queue, probably in the best position so far. He's only got the Aston Martin ahead of him of, I believe that is Sebastian Vettel.
I can tell you in a sec. The only ones not on the track are the AlphaTauris, and they're coming out now. You said ahead of Alonso is Vettel. Is that what you're going with?
Oh, no, sorry. Behind? So ahead of so Verstappen just passed. It was Lance Stroll who was ahead of him.
Yeah. So Norris leads the pack, followed by Leclerc, Sainz, Giovinazzi, Russell, Raikkonen, Bottas, and then a big gap to Hamilton, Ricciardo, Ocon, Alonso, Vettel, Latifi, Mazepin, Verstappen, and Stroll, and then the AlphaTauris are way behind. So we'll see. Norris will be the first to start his lap here. He's just heading down the back straight now.
Okay, and before he starts his lap, we got some team radio from Mick Schumacher.
Press in button, and box now. Mick, box now. Okay, and keep pushing on this in lap. You need to be negative on your delta time. Keep pushing on the in lap. How is the balance? How is the understeer level?
It was okay.
Okay, understood. Any changes?
For now, no. It feels really good.
Okay, understood.
So Mick pretty happy with the balance of his car after his first run, as we got Lando Norris heading down just now into turn 4. Wind is showing 14.7 kilometers an hour, very clean through turn 4, no track limits issues there. So we got 10 minutes to go in the session, heading down into, this is a tricky turn 8 here, downhill braking, very easy to lock up and run out wide, but smooth there for Norris as he heads into turn 10.
Norris does a 29.2, and so does Leclerc in sector 1.
Yeah, it is not the fastest. Norris setting a personal best in the first sector. You've got the two Mercedes who just started their timed lap as well, so we should be seeing some of those purple sectors coming out now.
Raikkonen fastest in sector 1, now beaten by Bottas, 28 for Bottas.
So Norris is just heading down the back straight now to complete his lap. A lot of traffic as he heads down there into turn 15.
Wow,
Max Verstappen.
That's concerning a little bit. Those cars are a dead stop almost. If something breaks on that car, I mean, you never know.
We've seen that issues in the past there as Norris just goes quickest with a 1:31.7, and Valtteri Bottas as well. Personal best in the first sector, beaten by his teammate Lewis Hamilton, who's just gone purple in the first sector. We got some team radio here from Max Verstappen before he starts his lap.
How many cars still need to start a lap?
Most cars. So you've got 3 behind you on an outlap.
Yeah, that was exactly what we were just talking about, Tyler, just with how many cars were backing off there before turn 15. As Bottas goes quickest with a 1:31.2 and most likely will be beaten by his teammate Lewis Hamilton as he crosses the line with a 5/10 quicker with a 1:30.6 as he was really sparking away there.
Yeah, they must have the car set very low because every little bounce he's sparking a lot. If you're looking for the time difference, 1/10 between Hamilton and Bottas in Sector 1, 4/10 in Sector 2 between the two, and another 2/10 in Sector 3.
And this will be close. Max Verstappen just went the fastest in Sector 2 as he coming down the back straight, heading into turn 15. Didn't set the fastest first sector, only a personal best, but let's see where he ends up as he comes out of turn 15. Very clean out on the exit, smooth on the power. As he crosses the line, and he goes quickest, 1/10 faster than Hamilton with a 1:30.4 on the soft tire. And Sergio Perez as well, third fastest. Pierre Gasly just goes third fastest as well, bumping Sergio Perez down in the order. A very good lap. And Yuki Tsunoda just goes second fastest with a 1:36 on the soft tire. So AlphaTauri seeming to be confirming the very good pace that they've shown so far.
Wow. I mean, that's a very, very impressive lap by both of those drivers. They only lost about a 10th in each sector. Guys lost a 10th in each sector from Verstappen, and Tsunoda was pretty on par with Verstappen throughout the whole lap.
That's a hell of a lap there from Yuki Tsunoda. I'm curious if he can keep that up heading into Q3. As they show a replay of Verstappen really sparking away. It looks like on the exit of turn... difficult to say where that is. But yeah, that's an incredible lap then from AlphaTauri. Yeah, so Verstappen reporting that he needs his team to check the floor as he went wide through turn 2. So hoping he doesn't have too much damage or anything like that.
They just showed a couple bits flying off from underneath. So hopefully that's not too much of a deal. They didn't look like big pieces, but you never know with the aero under there.
Yeah, that's an incredible... Wow, what a lap there from Yuki Tsunoda and also Pierre Gasly as well. Let's not forget about that. Just going to bring in some of the social media reaction here as well as everybody's saying the same things. We got a friend of the show here and Tim Haraney, fellow Canadian, saying, I told you about Tsunoda. Yeah, he was saying a lot of great things about him in our post wrap-up show. And yeah, it seems like he's really living up to the hype so far.
Yeah, Tim, like you mentioned, good friend of the show, and yeah, he knows his racing. So if he's saying that Tsunoda, watch out for him. I would say watch out for him. Of course, we said, in our preseason, say that that Tsunoda maybe needed another year in F2, but he's making us eat our words, isn't he?
Yeah, maybe not then.
Maybe not.
So let's look at the rundown of the rest of the order then. So Max Verstappen quickest. We got 5 minutes to go here in Q1, so the teams will quickly refuel and head out for their final run. So the drivers at risk of elimination, surprising there a little bit, actually down there in, 16th place, Esteban Ocon. And here's the big story, I think, also from Q1, so far at least, Nicholas Latifi, quicker than George Russell. As we head into the final runs in this qualifying session. At risk of elimination, the two Alfa Romeos as well, very close there in 14th and 15th. Above Sebastian Vettel, struggling there still in that AMR 21, who's in 13th place. His teammate, not that much farther ahead, actually, only in 11th place is Lance Stroll, and then Lando Norris rounding at the top 10 there. Both Ferraris inside the top 10, which is a decent time there. So this is going to be extremely close, just looking at the gaps there. Between essentially after the top three, it's very, very close.
Yeah, it is very close. It'll be interesting to see what happens here. Latifi Russell only 2/10 away from Giovinazzi, who's in 15th right now. Raikkonen has another 2/10 up. He's in 14th. So, I mean, I would think to see the two Haas's, I don't think they can make up a full second over the rest of the field. So it's going to be tough for them to try and make it through. But Latifi and Russell will have to put a good lap here and try and push the Alfa Romeos out of the picture. Mick Schumacher behind his teammate right now by 6/10, but I'm not sure if he got both laps in or just the one. So that'll be interesting to see on this last run here.
So here's some radio from Max Verstappen. I believe this was what he was reporting to the team about his floor.
I have to check my floor. I went a bit wide out of turn 2 through turn 3.
Yeah, so that was just on his previous run there. He most likely won't need to go out again, obviously, with only 3 minutes to go in this session. He's pretty safe, but it's very close down in the rest of the field. I don't even think that, honestly, Valtteri Bottas might even have to go out again. He's 7/10 off the pace currently at the moment, but behind him, the gaps are still very close.
I can update you on who's out here. Lewis Hamilton's out on the track. Bottas is out on the track.
Yep.
And obviously everyone else that needs to go. The only ones not on the track right now are the two, or all the Red Bull teams, and Nikita Mazepin.
Yep, and you just mentioned Mazepin. We got some Nikita Mazepin team radio here as he's currently on an outlap.
Guys, I don't know what's going on here. For some reason, they don't see the green light on top of my head. How do I get it?
You need to go to P0, all the way to P0.
Okay, so just sound like some sort of issue there for Mazepin as he was trying to get out of the pit lane.
Perez is out, so only 3 drivers will not be going for a final lap. Verstappen, Tsunoda, and Gasly will not be going out for a final lap.
Yeah, that's
from our friend of the show, Chris Medlin, who just tweeted that.
There we go. Blue Tiger Gaming says, Tsunoda looking good to stand a chance this year, 100%. I'm very, very excited to see where he can place himself in Q3. We're under 2 minutes to go here in Q1. Of course, the drivers at risk of elimination, Esteban Ocon, Nicholas Latifi, and his teammate George Russell in the Williams, who's about to start a flying lap, and then the 2 Haas cars of Nikita Mazepin and Mick Schumacher. So here goes George Russell starting on a flying lap. He's currently in 18th. Yep.
Just quickly, Chris, Mazepin's going to have to hustle, otherwise he might not get in his lap.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
He's just going through turn 8 right now, so it'll be interesting to see when everyone backs up here.
Yeah, because, of course, drivers are trying to create that gap for themselves, which is tricky. George Russell, very clean through turn 1, 2, and 3.
Russell's going to get a lot of traffic at the end of this lap. He's going through turn 4. Mazepin's just going through turn 10 right now.
Yeah, this is going to be really tricky here, as he's currently goes 3 seconds faster than he did on his first lap. So a personal best in the first sector there for George Russell. Mick Schumacher as well, a personal best, but he's 1/10 down on Giovinazzi's time there in the cutoff zone. Let's see what Latifi's first sector timing is. 8 1,000ths of a second quicker for Nicholas Latifi in the first sector.
Latifi really struggled on sector 2, so let's see if he can improve on that in this lap.
Yeah.
Right now there's 7 cars on the back straight, where Russell will be coming to in a second here, down to 5.
Russell just goes a second faster than Giovinazzi. They're setting a personal best in the second sector. So this will be a much better lap here from Russell. It should bump him into Q2 at the moment provisionally.
This is going to be interesting. There's a lot of traffic here for George.
Just as he gets away out in turn 15, maybe he gets a little bit of a tow. Yeah, 7th fastest then for George Russell, 8/10 off of the pace. A big lockup there from, by the looks of it. Oh, and we got another spin. That's, again, Nikita Mazepin, I believe.
Sergio Perez did not get his lap in. He did not cross the line in time.
And Nicholas Latifi also 14th place. It's going to be interesting to see what these yellow flags can do, but the drivers should be able to finish their times. Vettel currently at risk in the moment in the drop zone.
Sainz lost it in turn 8. That's
And
the yellow flags in sector 2. So that's going to ruin Vettel's lap. Vettel's going to be out.
Wow. And same with Fernando Alonso. He's currently at risk. Nicholas Latifi bumped out, so he will not make it into Q2. Alonso is currently on a quick lap. Okay, so it looks like he will be able to finish this. As the checkered flag is out here, guys, at the first qualifying session here in Bahrain, Alonso moves up into 7th fastest, 0.3 off of Max Verstappen. It's getting very close now at the front. Lance Stroll is currently at risk as well. Both Aston Martins currently in the drop zone. Ocon did a slow sector 2. Let's see if this will be enough to get him out. Just only 15th for Ocon.
Wow.
And Lance Stroll just bumps out his good friend Esteban Ocon. He moves into 12th. Vettel is currently rounding out the final corner, heading across the line. Only 18th fastest. Sebastian Vettel did not make it out of Q1 in his first qualifying session with Aston Martin. Wow.
That had a lot to do. Well, that had a lot to do with Sainz spinning in turn 8. Vettel was behind him, and I think he lost a lot of time there. So we'll have to see what happened to Sainz. He's up and running, so I mean the cars can't be that much damaged. I didn't see the accident yet, but Sainz just barely made it out in 15th. So really, he did himself a favor there because if Vettel wasn't behind him, I don't know if Sainz would have made it out of Q1.
Yeah, absolutely. A very interesting Q1 there. They're showing Nicholas Latifi at the moment, 0.2 off of the pace. I think he did make a mistake in his final run there, so he'll be disappointed with that. A good first run, but George Russell, again, continuing his form of beating his Williams teammate. And, yeah, that's very interesting that Esteban Ocon in the Alpine was unable to make it out of Q1. I'm just curious to see if I can find some of the team radio here and what they're saying. So let's hear what Sebastian Vettel has to say.
Yeah, there's a big traffic jam.
Okay, you got to go now. You got to go now. Go. Go one.
So that was just after before he came out in the pits. Now, very interesting. Race Control reporting that they will be investigating times done under yellow flag conditions. But look at the traffic here. That is just unbelievable.
Yeah, that's interesting because there was some interesting stuff going on in turn 8s and some cars following Sainz. So again, I haven't seen what happened to Sainz yet. So I don't know. I'm surprised you haven't gotten a replay of that yet.
Yeah. Well, while
I'm not sure if you can find anything on Twitter, Chris, but
yeah, currently looking. Just because, okay, I have to play this just because they just showed Mazepin spinning again. My favorite Twitter account, F1 portrayed by Top Gear. Let's see what brilliance they've brought us for today.
Why is he just going round and round? Is there a record for going round and round?
Don't know, but if there is, it's in the back.
Why is he just...
Oh, man. Yeah, that's a good one. Okay, let's see. So there's your update then of drivers out of Q1. Oh, okay, so Tim Hauraney is saying that Latifi didn't get DRS on his final run.
Oh, interesting. So an issue there then with, I guess, the rear wing of Latifi. Not ideal.
Yeah. Let's just see. Got some team radio here from Esteban Ocon. As they're just showing Carlos Sainz on the replay. No spin or anything like that. I believe that's in turn 14.
Well, it was turn 8 where unless the driver tracker screwed up.
Yeah, maybe some sort of car issue. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think I just heard Sainz's radio saying the engine stopped. I don't know why.
Yeah, it almost looked like it.
But yeah, no, the driver tracker said he stopped in turn 8. So hey, maybe the driver tracker was wrong, and that's screwed me up. But we're running through the kinks. This is still week 1 of this whole
yeah.
F1 TV setup that we have going here. So apologize if there's any misinformation going on.
All right, got some team radio here from Esteban Ocon. Let's see if this is from after his run.
Wind looks similar for us for this run. Pure headwind into 1.
Okay, so that was just a headwind reporting before his final run. Esteban Ocon, of course, out of Q1 at the moment. Or, well, he is, because it is finished. So, yeah, definitely. Okay, let's just catch up maybe on some of the comments here in the chat. Beer Brewer saying AMR car looks nice but no speed. Yeah, they're definitely struggling so far, but I do expect them to find their form after the first couple races of the season. Matthias says it's even worse than his first season at F1. I'm not sure. I don't know if that was in reference to Latifi. Jay says, you guys are going to do this for all 23 races? Dudes, you just got a subscriber. No, okay, maybe we'll just say we'll do it for all 23 races so we can keep the subscriber. Jay, we're not going to do for every single race, but we are planning to do it for quite a few races this season. So thank you for subscribing, and hope you enjoy the rest of the stream. Magic Skate says, damn, he's sad for Seb. Yeah, definitely it was not the way he'd like to start his career. Pixel Phoenix asks, how was Mick doing? So Mick Schumacher finished. I wonder if they still have
19th, I believe.
The final timing. Yeah, so 19th, ahead of his teammate, which is good. You know, you always at the very least, I think that's where the battle. Or no, excuse me, sorry. Mick Schumacher was 20th.
No, I have him here as 19th, 8/10 ahead of Mazepin.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yep.
Yeah, sorry. Mine just updated. Thank you for that. Then, yeah. So Schumacher for finishing ahead of Nikita Mazepin, his teammate, which I think is probably kind of where Schumacher is going to have to start off from in his young F1 career because of the Haas car at the moment, is just trying to beat his teammate. So job done at the very least, and we'll see what he can do in the race tomorrow.
So I wonder what issues here. They're just about showing a replay of Carlos Sainz here, going through where I saw him drop off the track, team radio on the broadcast.
Okay, I've got it here,
Okay,
Tyler.
so,
Also,
yeah, he just said, or unless you want to play it.
Yeah, I can play it. I think this is probably the same one.
Yeah.
Engine stop. I don't know why.
Yeah. Good old Ferrari power.
Yeah, so his engine sounds terrible. I don't know if anyone got to hear that, like his engine, but he went over the curbs in turn 2, got a vibration, and that cut the engine in turn 8 somehow, and then it was basically just anti-stall the whole time, and he was struggling. Didn't look very comfortable. So see if they can get that fixed for Q2, as Q2 is now underway.
Yeah, absolutely. So our predictions, roughly, we almost got it.
We almost did. What did I had? I had both Williams out. I had Giovinazzi out, so that was wrong, and I didn't have Vettel out, so that was wrong.
Yeah, that was a surprise. But again, caveat to that, guys, don't panic just yet. It was because of the yellow flags caused by Carlos Sainz, so that did ruin his lap. And stick around afterwards as well, because the FIA is investigating investigating drivers that completed laps under the yellow flag conditions. So final provisional order might not be the same.
Yeah, which will be interesting if there's any 5-place grid penalties.
So yeah, this is just here, going to update here from Chris Medland that, yes, just on the Sainz engine, he got an engine stop message approaching turn 8 and had no power to accelerate away, caused a yellow, but Sainz made it back to the pits in the end. Otmar Safnauer, Aston Martin team principal, says Vettel caught both yellows in turn 1 and turn 8.
Mm-hmm. I saw him in turn 8, but the turn 1 makes sense as well. And okay, with 12 minutes and 45 seconds, everyone has decided it's their time to go out. I'm not sure why they don't stagger it a little bit, but everyone wants to go at the same time, led by the 2 Mercedes here.
Yes, and many of the cars coming out on that medium tire, especially the front runners. It looks like the Ferrari is Charles Leclerc out on the soft, as well as his teammate Carlos Sainz. We got both McLarens out on the medium.
Let's see. Yeah, let's see. So I'll give you all the tire rundowns. Verstappen mediums, Hamilton mediums, Leclerc soft, Ricciardo mediums, Alonso soft, Norris mediums, Giovinazzi softs, Perez and Bottas both mediums, Stroll, Raikkonen, Sainz all softs, and the AlphaTauris are not out yet.
Yep, and you guys should be seeing the updated tire info as well in the middle of your screen, as there is a ton of cars currently out on track. We've got, looks like another team radio from Sainz. Let's see if we have any update from him.
I think it has to be the vibrations in curb exit of turn 2. The problem.
Okay, so he's saying that something with vibrations is the problem. Not sure if related to that engine issue, but we'll see what it is. Before we got the Q2 laps running, we also got Fernando Alonso, team radio.
Yes, that Sainz message. Oh, sorry.
Okay, for info, track temperature has dropped a couple of degrees now. 32 at the moment.
Okay, so track temp a little bit down. Sorry, Tyler, what were you going to say?
Oh, I was just saying how that science message was earlier on when he was in the engine stop during his lap. So
Okay.
Verstappen radio message seems to be having radio issues with his team. So not a huge issue in qualifying, but
Yeah, it's not ideal, though. So, Valtteri Bottas currently starting the first flying lap of Q2. The wind has picked up a little bit, 14 kilometers an hour.
just to update you guys, the AlphaTauris are out on mediums.
Yes, I was about to say that. So, very interesting then. So, we've really only got the two Alphas, the two Ferraris on the softs. But AlphaTauri and the Red Bulls obviously very confident that they can get in on that medium tire. So Bottas with the fastest first sector. Verstappen not able to go quicker than Valtteri in the first sector. But I think the Red Bull kind of comes alive a little bit more as we head into Sector 2 with 10 minutes to go here in this Q2 session. Lewis Hamilton. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, Sonoda just went fastest in Sector. Oh, no, hold on. Ignore me. It's not updated.
Okay. Yeah, Hamilton did not go quicker than Bottas, so Valtteri seems a lot more comfortable here on this medium tire as he's currently rounding out turn 14. And Verstappen just goes quickest in the second sector, so going to be, again, very close between the two.
Beat Bottas by 2/10 in Sector 2.
Yeah, and scratch that. Lewis Hamilton just sets a purple second sector as Bottas will cross the line. Sets a 130.5 there on the medium tire. As Verstappen comes across the line, he goes quicker, 2/10 faster than Bottas with a 130.3. Hamilton just quickly behind. And Hamilton goes quickest, 2/10 up on Verstappen's time with a 130.0, very close to the 129s on that medium tire. Lando Norris, 4th place, 6/10 off the pace. Remember, Norris is on that medium tire as well. So Charles Leclerc about to... Yeah, Leclerc just crossed the line. 5th fastest on the soft tire. Very interesting, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And Carlos Sainz goes quicker than Charles Leclerc with a 130.8, also on that C4 soft tire.
Perez.
Nice.
P4.
That's a solid lap. Let's see where the AlphaTauri is. Pierre Gasly currently purple first sector, personal best in the middle sector. And he's also on the medium tire. This is going to be really interesting. Let's see where he ends up.
I'm not sure what happened to Stroll, but he's a full second behind Leclerc.
Yeah, and I think Gasly made some sort of a mistake. He's only 9th fastest after setting a purple first sector. And Sergio Perez's lap time is 130.7 and has been deleted because of track limits at turn 4.
Gasly's time lost a lot of time in looks like Sector 2. He lost some time. I don't know where he lost the full second though.
Yeah. It had to have been a mistake somewhere.
Yeah. Sonoda also, they looked, it seemed like Sector 2 and 3, I don't know if they used their tires up, but Sector 2 and 3, the AlphaTauris struggled a little bit more than in Sector 1.
Yeah. So we got some team radio here from Verstappen.
Can you hear me?
I can now. Is there an issue?
Yeah, and I unplugged the cable by accident.
Okay, so Verstappen accidentally unplugged his radio cable, which is why he was having those issues earlier.
Carlos Sainz says it feels a bit windier now, so maybe the wind picking up a little bit.
Yeah, that could also be the problem with the AlphaTauris as well, which is why we saw the drop-off there so much in the pace. But very interesting in the first runs here. Unfortunate for Sergio Perez is they're just showing the replay of him running wide on turn 4 because I believe he's most likely going to have to come out then on the softer tire just because he doesn't have a time and is at risk of elimination.
Yeah, absolutely. I would put him out on a set of softs just to be sure. Chris, interesting though from the Mercedes to be going so quick on a set of softs. The sandbags were definitely deployed. Ricardo's time also deleted, by the way, so he'll have to go out on a set of softs as well. But very interesting because 130, I mean, he's going to dip, or Hamilton will dip into the 129s on a set of softs, I would think, in Q3.
Yeah, so currently, if we're looking at it, Verstappen 2/10 off of Hamilton's time on that medium tire. Bottas further back at 4/10 behind his teammate. But this is, of course, really just for the race start here in terms of the strategy to begin on that harder tire. And then I think we're going to see the gloves really come off in Q3 in a couple of minutes' time. Pierre Gasly has the fastest first sector, and then Hamilton's got the fastest second and third sector.
Russell on an out lap and on a flying lap right now. So let's see how he does. It's his only run probably in Q2. Of course, he had to use an extra set of softs during Q1, so he only has one set available during Q2 here.
Yeah, as we're coming up on 5 minutes to go in this session. George Russell currently, I believe, the only car out at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely.
So he's got the track to himself. Wind has picked up a little bit here in Bahrain. He's got a personal best in the first sector. Oh, and I'm just seeing it pop up here. Thank you very much, Magic Skates, once again, for the second super chat for Q2. Hope you guys are enjoying the stream. We will try and catch up with some of your chats here within the gap after Q2 as we follow Russell on the exit of turn 10.
Magic Skates, you're a legend. Thank you very much, man. I really appreciate that. That's awesome.
Yeah, maybe you guys get in your predictions here for Q3. Have your predictions changed in these first two qualifying sessions than what they were before? As Russell sets a personal best here in Sector 2. Let's see where it ends up in the order. Of course, Ricardo and Perez ahead of him do not have a time set. But let's see if he can maybe go quicker than the Alphas. So Russell will cross the line for his final lap in Q2, and he goes 13th fastest, so he will not make it out of Q2 with a 1:33.4. As we see, interesting, the Mercedes are coming out again on the medium tire.
Really interesting. Verstappen's out on mediums. The two AlphaTauris, who are 8th and 9th right now, are out on medium tires.
So I think
brand new medium tires.
Yeah, they seem to be confident in their pace, so I'm not sure what happened to them in their first run, but they looked really mighty in that first sector and the second sector, but something happened there in that final couple of corners. But it'll be interesting to see. If they can maintain that pace all the way through the whole lap.
Well, you'd think. I mean, I don't believe too much in the Alfa Romeos. I think they'll be out, but Ricciardo's gonna be setting a quick lap. Perez is gonna be setting a quick lap, and I would think Lance Stroll will be setting a better lap than what he did. He must have had an issue somewhere because he shouldn't be 1.9 seconds off the pace in 10th. He should be a little closer than that. So
yeah,
risky here by AlphaTauri. Let's see how it pays out for them.
So we got some team radio here from Carlos Sainz.
Okay, good to open now, mode push, and you can push now.
So that was just Sainz as he's starting his flying lap. Carlos Sainz, of course, has Sebastian Vettel's former race engineer for this season.
Matthias just asking what happened with Danny Rick. He has lap time deleted for track limits in turn 4, so he only have one chance. Same with Perez.
Yeah, that's a lot of pressure on there. For Daniel Ricciardo, his teammate Lando Norris sitting pretty good actually at the moment in 4th place. He's also on an out lap at the moment as Pierre Gasly begins his lap. So let's take a close look here at AlphaTauri because this will be a very key lap here as Gasly currently in 8th, his teammate Tsunoda in 9th, and as Tyler, you mentioned, out on that medium tire.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting. Perez is going to get a lot of traffic here, I think, at the end of his lap. Maybe not a ton, but he'll definitely have a couple of cars, Norris and Alonso probably. So that might hurt Perez. We'll see.
Matthias just asking in the chat what happened to Ricciardo. He had his lap time deleted for track limits at turn 4, as well with Sergio Perez. So interesting.
Gasly's slower.
Yeah, slower. So this is he's gonna need a mighty second sector here, but this might be track conditions as well if they're not improving.
Giovinazzi has a quick sector 1.
So maybe the gamble won't pay off for AlphaTauri.
I mean, this is bold by them. I'm surprised they came out on mediums.
Well, it speaks to the confidence that they have in the package, but also the two drivers as well. But if track conditions aren't suitable, okay, he goes personal best in his second sector, 1/10 off of Lewis Hamilton. So this is where he's going to really need to improve here on his sector 3. It might be enough to at least bump him up a couple of places. Let's see.
Perez goes P4.
That's good news for Red Bull. They can kind of breathe a sigh of relief at the moment.
Nice lap from Sergio.
Yes, Pierre Gasly goes third fastest, so a very strong sector 2 and 3.
Wow, so there must have been a huge issue with the cars. Sonoda, I'm not sure how he's looking here. He's going to be coming up to the line in a second.
Yeah, he's slower in both the first and second sectors. Doesn't improve on his time, only goes 10th fastest. So Sonoda is out of Q2. Antonio Giovinazzi goes 6th fastest on the soft tire as Lance Stroll currently on a flying lap. He's setting personal best in the first 2 sectors. He's just rounding out turn 15. Car looks a bit of a handful to try and get into the corner, but will this be enough for Stroll? Yes, he goes 5th fastest.
Nice lap as well from Lance.
So Fernando Alonso currently at risk in the cutoff. Charles Leclerc goes fastest on the soft tire with a 1:30.0. 7-1. And Carlos Sainz. Wow, this is very interesting at Ferrari, guys. Fernando Alonso crossing the line. He goes 7th fastest, currently in Q3 at the moment. Daniel Ricciardo just behind, and he goes 5th fastest, so he's 2/10 off the pace. But
Perez
is safe.
at risk? Or is everyone through now?
Oh, no, Lando Norris.
Or just Lando Norris.
I think he's going to bump Perez out. Yes, he will.
Wow.
Oof. That's a tough one there for Red Bull. But honestly, when you look at it, Max Verstappen was getting close too as well. He only gets 7th.
I mean, look at that. I know you have to think that there's some teams on mediums there that will be running softs, but still, look at that grid. It's top 10 separated by 6/10 with 2 Ferraris at the top of the grid.
Wow.
How about that? I don't see that happening in Q3, but that's tough for Sergio. He was on mediums, and that strategy call obviously didn't work out for Red Bull. Worked out for Gasly, but didn't work for Perez, and some team radio from Sergio. Just a lot of swearing from Sergio.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll be disappointed. Obviously, I'm not sure which lap was better. Actually, the one that he probably had deleted was better. But, yeah, that really sucks then for Sergio Perez to be knocked out of Q2 in that first one, and not exactly what Red Bull will have wanted in their fight against Mercedes. That's really disappointing.
It is disappointing. So if you look at it, so Gasly was on the mediums, Verstappen was on the mediums, and the 2 McLarens were on the mediums, which means that technically Ferrari were faster than McLaren on the softs, which is very, very interesting.
Yeah, that's surprising too, but here's another thing as well, and we see some of the comments coming in, one there from Magic Skate saying, "Vamos Carlos." Yeah, vamos indeed, and he's not, and we talked about this before, Sainz is not backing down from anybody, and he's been consistently quicker than Charles Leclerc so far this weekend. We'll see if it continues into Q3, but this is really shaping up to be interesting in many levels of the grid.
Matthias says the curse in the Red Bull second seat is real. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, and definitely, Ferrari 1-2 on the soft. Obviously, that's most likely not going to continue. But like you mentioned, Tyler, very interesting that they went ahead of McLaren. But McLaren did go with the smarter decision to go back out on the softs, which I think that maybe for Perez and Red Bull, I think would have been the smarter decision, considering it's Perez's first weekend with the team. And he's not that comfortable just yet with the RB16B in terms of one-lap pace. I think it might have been smarter to put him on an alternate strategy and put him on the softs.
Well, I have to think that Red Bull wasn't expecting the grid to be that close. So, I mean, maybe this will be a learning experience for the future. Just 1 second. Sebastian Vettel's doing an interview right now. He said he knew that traffic was going to be a mess, but no one was expecting it to be that bad. So, not too happy with the traffic, but I mean, yellow flags really screwed him there.
I'll play here some team radio from Lewis Hamilton.
There's a lot of people out right now. It's going to be tough getting a gap for a good outlap.
So there you go, just comments from him as he went for his final run in Q2, talking about the traffic.
Yeah, there'll be less traffic now in Q3. So just to run down again, if all those of you could probably see it, but Sainz, Leclerc, Hamilton, Norris, Bottas, Ricciardo, Verstappen, Gasly, Alonso in his return in Q3, and Lance Stroll with the Aston Martin in Q3 as well.
Yeah, guys, get in your predictions here for Q3. Just before we get going for the final session here, got some radio here from Yuki Tsunoda. Let's see if there's a bunch of swear words in this one.
So your limitation is just grip, or there is also balance limitation?
Just grip. Even the second set was even worse than first set. I just don't feel any grip in it, especially even in the entry.
So Tsunoda complaining of a lack of grip on both runs, actually. So, yeah, very interesting. He's out, of course, of qualifying. So that's what
I wonder. Sorry, Chris.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
I was going to say, I wonder if that's mechanical or if that's with the extra wind that's coming up, that's messing up his lap.
Yeah, and also I think track conditions as well. We saw Pierre Gasly unable to go faster in that first sector as well, but was able to switch the tires on. I think it might have been also that Gasly was kind of holding in some pace in the first sector to not run out of tires for the end of the lap, which was seemed to be the smart decision.
Just going to some comments.
Yes, please do.
Magic Skate says, don't get your Grazzies ready just yet. I don't know what that word means, so if you can tell me what that word means, that'd be great.
Oh, thank you. That's what it means. Like, thank you. Like, he's talking like, like grazie ragazzi.
I see. No, I'm half Italian. I didn't even put that together, so that's terrible by me. I'm actually taking Italian lessons. Couldn't figure that out. So, anyways, embarrassing. Emmanuel says, this is so entertaining. Glad you're enjoying it, Emmanuel. Hope you can continue supporting us and click that subscribe button. We'll be for more content. And Matthias says, excited to see the return of Alonso. Yeah, so are we. We'll see how he does in Q3 here. 118 of you watching right now. 120 actually just bumped up. So thank you all for watching. Q3 should be a fun one. And if you like what you're seeing and haven't done it yet, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Lots of stuff coming in the future here on the Backmarkers F1 show.
I'll tell you what, Beer Brewer likes what he's seeing. He says, only good thing about Seb interviews lately is seeing his blonde beauty next to him. I think she's maybe a little bit too old for our liking, but yeah.
The funny thing is, just as I said subscribe, we lost 10 viewers, so I don't think they like that.
So we're just in a little bit of a lull before we begin Q3. Actually, Tyler, you mentioned Fernando Alonso. This is his first Q3 appearance since the 2018 Monaco Grand Prix.
Wow. Hopefully he can figure out how to run a Q3.
Yeah.
He'll be fine.
Well,
it is Fernando.
Yeah, and that's where we're seeing, guys, the difference between, when we have the car versus driver debate, you see Ocon not even able to get out of Q1 with a tricky Alpine car, versus Fernando Alonso, who's in the same tricky Alpine car, but able to extract all that performance. So there you see the difference. And we see Miha S. has joined the chat. What's up, guys? Yeah, hello to you. I think it was back in all 3 days we saw you in the chat rooms for the live stream testing, so welcome back. Good to have you along here for Q3. We still got, I think, about a minute or two to go before we got cars back out on track. All right, Tyler, has your predictions changed? Who are you going for pole?
I've still got Hamilton pole. I think Mercedes are sandbagged. But obviously my Perez P4 did not come to fruition. So
yeah,
who's going to be P4? Is it going to be Norris? Is it going to be one of the Ferraris? I mean, I think it has to come down to either McLaren or Ferrari going P4. Although, you know what? Gasly has been very good. So it'll be interesting to see.
All right, guys, here we go. It is the first top 10 shootout for 2021. The Mercedes are coming out onto the track.
I just want to say, I think the only thing I got wrong was not having Perez in the top 10. I think that's the only one I got wrong.
Yeah, that was a bit of a surprise, but I honestly think that Red Bull really messed up there. They should have sent him out there on the soft tire because, again, if they want to take the fight to Mercedes, why not just try and go on an alternate strategy? Perez is a master tire preserver anyways. So starting him on the soft would have been a solid idea.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, that's unfortunate for Sergio, but he'll have free tire choice in 11. So, I mean, that's the only positive he can take from it.
So Max Verstappen, we got 11 minutes to go. 10:59, 10:58, 10:57 if you're just trying to sync it up at home. Verstappen, the final car out onto the track, and this will be the interesting one to see. The two Mercedeses will set their best laps, and then we'll be able to follow Verstappen along behind them and see if he can get the better of them in this first run.
Magic Skate says they think we might get a Ferrari in the top 5. Let's see. It could. It's possible. It's possible. That'd be interesting.
It might be Carlos Sainz too.
They were only separated by 1/1000th of a second, Leclerc and Sainz, I believe.
Yeah, it's close.
Still in the pits is Leclerc, Alonso, and Stroll. So I wonder if they're only going for one run or what here.
Yeah, I wonder if, it looks like they are because they might only have one set of new soft tires.
Yeah, tires are off on Leclerc, so it'll be a one and done for those three. Sainz will have the opportunity to have 2 runs then, so maybe the slight favor for the Ferrari battle goes to Sainz in that opinion.
Yeah, well, he'll definitely have the event.
Sorry, Chris. I was just saying there. I'm not sure if they're a new set or a used set.
Yeah, let me see if I can try and find that here on the live timing as well. So, I don't know if it's updated yet. It says, it hasn't updated yet for Sainz. Fresh rubber on Lando Norris, Daniel Ricciardo, Pierre Gasly as well. They got a brand new set of the softs. So it looks like Sainz might be on a used set, but only 2 laps done on that set if this information is correct.
Okay.
But we'll see how his lap time goes. So currently Daniel Ricciardo, the first of the runners in the top 10 shootout to begin his flying lap. Let's see if McLaren's pace can hold up here in the final Q3, guys. This is what we've been waiting for ever since testing, ever since all the preseason talk, is exactly this moment and this session right here where we're going to find out how the teams actually stack up against each other. All of the modes are in the positions they need to be, full throttle. So here we go. Ricciardo currently personal best, obviously in the first sector. Pierre Gasly goes quickest in the first.
He goes 0.5 quicker than Ricciardo in Sector 1.
Wow, I'm wondering if Ricciardo might have made a mistake, but it didn't seem like it. So I think
no, he ran a 29 flat. That's a respectable time.
So Pierre Gasly's just on fire at the moment.
Pierre Gasly even beat Bottas by 0.2 in Sector 1.
Looks like I think Hamilton just went purple in Sector 1.
Yeah. Beat Gasly by 0.1.
Yeah, I think the Sector 2 times really, I think, is the most important. Sector 1, it's pretty easy for a lot of the drivers to be very close, but Sector 2 and Sector 3 is where some of the more elite teams start to pull away here.
Gasly just went 0.6 faster than Ricciardo in Sector 2.
Yeah, and this is not a terrible lap from Ricciardo either. It seems pretty smooth and steady as he's about to cross the line. A 1:31.3, so not into the 130s for the McLaren. Let's see where Gasly ends up here. Yes, he goes 1.3 seconds quicker than Daniel Ricciardo, a 1:30.0.
Wow.
Ricciardo's teammate Lando Norris just crossing the line now, 3rd fastest.
I think those are used set of softs for McLaren.
Yes, I think you're right. And Valtteri Bottas not able to go quicker than Pierre Gasly. Wow.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah, Hamilton just goes 0.4 quicker with a 1:29.5. Max Verstappen currently personal best, purple in the second sector. He's about to cross the line here. Let's see if he goes quicker. Yes, it is Max Verstappen currently on provisional pole with a 1:29.5. 0.023 seconds ahead of Lewis Hamilton. Very, very close at the front. As great as that is, guys, the story I think at the moment, Pierre Gasly in 3rd place, 0.2 up on Valtteri Bottas in the Mercedes. That is a stellar lap.
So if you want the breakdown, Verstappen lost 0.1 in Sector 1, gained 0.1 in Sector 2, and beat Hamilton by 0.5 in Sector 3. So there's your breakdown. Actually, they just put it down there now.
Yeah. But you had the right idea. That's the broadcasting mentality there.
That's true, yeah.
So
all right. Sorry, Chris, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just about to say we should be seeing Stroll, Leclerc, and Alonso most likely come out right around now, unless they're going to wait for the final runs to go out with the rest of the runners, but I believe that they might just use the free track to get their runs in now. But Pierre Gasly just boxing at the moment. Let's see if we can get any type of update here on team radio.
Stroll coming out on an out lap, but he's the only one so far. So Stroll will have the track to himself, it looks like. And that'll probably be his only run. So it'll be interesting to see. And they're waiting a little bit to, I'm surprised they didn't wait a little bit for track acclimatization or to see if the track would get a little better. But I guess they're just going to go for it at Aston Martin.
Yeah. So we got, let's see, team radio here from Lewis.
So Sainz behind on used tyres and just a couple of cars ahead also on used.
Yep, so that confirms then that's a pretty good lap then for Carlos Sainz on the used set of softs. Let's hear Bottas's team radio.
Wind should be same direction.
Okay, so no wind change there on the first run time. Matthias is asking how much time left now. Coming up right now, just on 5 minutes, we have on our timing screens here 5:01, 4:59, 4:58, so that should give you sort of an idea.
Ted Kraus just reporting possible damage to Verstappen's car. Of course, that was from Q1, but Red Bull not saying how much damage, of course.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it didn't seem to affect him too much. He's currently got provisional pole, but not by much.
Well, maybe that damage, hurts Verstappen a 10th, and that ends up being the difference in the final run here. We'll see. Stroll about to start his flying lap. And we'll see how he does as he just crosses the line going into turn 1. I'm not sure if they're going to show him, but I can give a breakdown here. Let me go to the driver cam of Lance Stroll. He's going through turn 2 here. Looks nice and tidy through turn 2. Oh, they're going to show him. All right, great.
Yeah, we missed the first 3 turns, but here we go into turn 4.
Really strong.
Yeah.
Sector
that might get deleted.
Ooh.
He's 0.2 off of Max Verstappen's time.
It's not awful. A 28.7 is very good in Sector 1. This is where the Aston Martin struggle a little bit here in Sector 2. He's still setting personal best, though. No purple parts of Sector 2, but all personal best, which is positive for Stroll.
And here we go. We've got the parade of cars coming out then for the final run.
Well, lots of jockeying for position here.
Yeah.
39.0 for Stroll in Sector 2.
Yeah, interesting to see where he's going to end up. Can he crack the top 5? I don't think this time will be good enough for that.
A little twitchy through the last corner there from Lance.
Crosses the line, goes 6th fastest ahead of both McLarens. And, of course, Charles Leclerc, Fernando Alonso have yet to set a time as well. So it's a decent lap, but, of course, all 4 cars that are behind him will get an additional run here at the moment as we see a ton of traffic here heading into turn 4. Max Verstappen seems to try and be getting ahead of the queue here. He just overtook Daniel Ricciardo in the McLaren.
Yeah, I mean, 130.6, a solid lap from Stroll, but I think that's not going to be enough. He might get 9th, but I think that'll be a 9th or 10th from him. Still his best lap of the session, though. So
yeah. Just Verstappen seems very eager to get to the front of the queue here. And,
I'm just taking a look at the driver tracker here. He has Gasly, Hamilton, and Bottas only in front of him now. So I think he really wanted to get ahead of the Red Bulls. And I'll see if he wants to get ahead of Gasly here as well.
Yeah, I'm wondering if this will kind of affect his outlap, though, in a way, in terms of he's pushing a little bit more than he'd like to. Let's see. Here's some team radio from Lando Norris.
They've all released in front of me. Okay. The Renault.
Okay, yep, we'll warn them.
Lando Norris calling the Alpine the Renault. We've also got radio here from Verstappen.
So again, just losing the rear a bit.
Yeah, saw that.
Okay, so that was back from his first run. He was saying that was a shit lap. So maybe Max has got a little bit something more in the bag here, but we're about to find out. Valtteri Bottas is at the front of the line, and he's about to start on his final lap here in Q3, and I'm sure the drivers behind him will be queuing up quite a lot.
Hamilton's going to cross the line here. Stroll, of course, goes into the pits.
Are you seeing, Tyler, on your driver tracker? What's the gap there between Verstappen and Hamilton? Was he able to get a decent-sized gap?
So Gasly is ahead of going to turn one now, and Verstappen's midway through. So it's about where everyone else has the gap. So it's the same gap about for everyone so far. Gasly looks quick going into turn one, though, right now.
Yep. Valtteri Bottas setting a personal best in the first sector, outbested by Lewis Hamilton. Hamilton goes purple in sector 1, 1/10 up on Max Verstappen's time. Gasly 7/100 seconds off. It's slower than his first run, and I believe Max Verstappen just set the purple sector in 1. Is that right?
That's correct. Verstappen purple in sector 1.
All right, here we go.
Only a half a tenth separating Verstappen and Hamilton in sector 1, though.
Oh, this is going to be so close as we get to the line. Valtteri Bottas is just rounding out turn 13 into 14.
Not to spoil it, Hamilton going slower in sector 2 midway through.
Yep, just popping up now. The checkered flag is out. Can Valtteri Bottas go quicker than the AlphaTauri? Pierre Gasly setting a personal best in sector 2. Bottas, 2 personal bests in the first and second sector. It looks like he will improve on his time.
Verstappen goes purple in sector 2.
Bottas sets the fastest final sector. He goes third fastest. Lewis Hamilton about to cross the line. He takes provisional pole. 1/10 up on Max Verstappen's time, but Max Verstappen setting 2 personal bests in the first and second sector. Gasly can't improve on his time. He stays fourth. Max Verstappen takes pole position.
Wow.
For the first race of the season, sets a 1:28.9 to go 3/10 quicker than Lewis Hamilton.
Oh, Charles Leclerc, P4 as well.
Wow, what a lap there from Max Verstappen. Man, that was... We knew he was maybe holding something in the bag there a little bit, but wow, that is an incredible lap from Verstappen. A special shout-out as well to Charles Leclerc, who put in his best lap for last. As you mentioned, Tyler, 4th place. And Pierre Gasly, take a bow and take a round of applause for the young AlphaTauri driver, 5th fastest.
What an interesting qualifying session. Verstappen, P1, gets into the 128s and, beat Hamilton by 4/10 pretty much, which is really impressive. And you can see where the difference was. I think Hamilton made a mistake in sector 2 because that's where he lost 3/10 to Verstappen. But we did see in the first run how Red Bull was quicker in sector 2. So maybe it had something to do with the Red Bull setup there. Team radio from Verstappen.
Yeah, hopefully it comes through here as well, and I'll get to play it for you guys who's not watching on the stream. Wow, that was exciting. Another super chat there from Magic Skates. Thank you very much.
Geez.
Last one for Q3, almost missed it. Was talking with my dad. No problem, man. We appreciate all the super chats you gave us today. And
thank you, Magic Skates, man. That's awesome. Appreciate it.
Yeah, get your comments in, guys. We're still going to be live for probably another about 15 or 20 minutes or so, just breaking down what we've seen. But, man, what a qualifying session that was.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Hopefully they all end up like this. This is a great start of the season if it's going to be like this. If you guys want I'm not sure, is it on the live stream? Let me pull it up. Oh yeah, you can see how the gaps are there. But very interesting to see Leclerc only a 10th behind Bottas, really, which is very positive for the Ferraris. Big gap to Sainz. I'm not sure if Sainz had a mistake during his session during his lap because he was 6/10 slower than Leclerc. But if not, I mean, it's a fantastic lap from Charles.
That's an incredible lap. Yeah, that's a very, very good job so far for Red Bull. I'm still disappointed, though, that they couldn't get Sergio Perez into Q3.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would have made it very interesting as well. And I think it was Magic Skates who said we might see a Ferrari in the top 5. Well, you're right. Charles Leclerc was P4.
Yeah. Yeah, Beer Brewer says, anyone really believe Merck was not sandbagging? Merck's still P2 and P3.
Well, I don't know if they'd be sandbagging during this.
Yeah, I don't know for sure, like sandbagging. They definitely weren't obviously stretching their legs to show their true pace. I don't think any team was really doing that. But this is a great indication to say that Red Bull's testing pace was real, and they have made significant improvements. So, again, I don't think either team is going to dominate this season, but this is a very good sign to show us at least that we're on for a close championship.
Yeah, which is ideal, and that will be interesting to see how aggressive Mercedes get going into turn one. Pierre Gasly being very nice and giving Max congratulations.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm really impressed with Pierre. He blew Yuki out of the water, and then obviously did very well in Q3 to get 5th place. He's going to be a good talent. I think he needed that year at AlphaTauri and the rest of this season at AlphaTauri to really gather his confidence again. But man, he's been fantastic.
Yeah, I think that some people jumped the gun a little bit there to say that, hey, he's going to jump in that Red Bull seat by mid-season and replace Perez.
Definitely not.
All right, let's try and bring in some of the social media reaction here. Guys, we're also on Twitter. Remember, at TBMF1 Show. If you want to tweet us your reactions or your comments, your questions, also drop them in the chat as well. Pole position for Max Verstappen. And somebody, I think I was just reading a comment there, from Jay, who says, man, Honda bringing on the fight to Mercedes. And definitely, they're trying to bow out of their final year of Formula One with the World Championship, and that new power unit seems to be holding up extremely well. It'll be interesting to see what the comments, what the Mercedes drivers have to say as well. They're not used to this.
Oh, a 50th birthday from David Coulthard?
He's 50?
He's 50. He's doing the post-race interviews. I'm just going to take a listen to these interviews here 1 second.
Man, what happened to him? He looks like he's 60. Yeah, I'll see if I can get the team radio here. It hasn't updated yet.
I'll try to update what Max says for those of you who can't watch the broadcast. So Max said basically that he had a great test session and the car's been fantastic all week, a joy to drive. But it was really tricky to set up the car with all the changing winds during the session. So maybe we see that for the rest of the teams as well.
He seems really happy too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, of course he would be, but even more so because it just seems like he knows that the pace is legitimate and that he can actually carry it on into the race, and not only the race, but the next couple of races as well throughout the whole year.
Yeah, absolutely. He's just saying that the balance was great there as well in his car. The car has been working really well. And looking forward to tomorrow. Very classic driver's response.
Well, it's interesting because when you watch the Netflix series and you get some of the behind-the-scenes sort of footage of team meetings with the PR staff, it's like worse than politics, honestly.
Oh, he says a nice birthday present to David, which is nice.
Oh, there we go.
The birthday present being Red Bull doing well.
Yeah, of course. I believe David Coulthard is actually still with Red Bull in some capacity.
Lewis up next. He said he gave it everything he had. Congrats to Max. Yeah. Lewis said that was maximum pace. Yeah, that's the best he could do.
Yeah.
And kind of shrugged, saying, yeah, it is what it is. Ooh.
Yeah, 0.3 off. I mean, it's a decent gap, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm. They said the aerodynamicists will be working hard to try and improve. They got a great team back at Mercedes.
Yeah. Well, and the also thing is, too, is when we looked at the race pace from FP2, Verstappen and Hamilton were relatively close. I mean, they were actually more than relatively close. They were extremely close, almost identical in lap time. So tomorrow will be very interesting, but I think that the Red Bull, typically in the race, is usually stronger than qualifying. So I think that's very interesting to see them, and that's where they needed to make the biggest step, I think, was qualifying pace as well. So it's a very good start for them, but I'm very curious how tomorrow is going to turn out, and we'll kind of get to the race in just a couple of minutes before we finish here.
Yeah, Valtteri Bottas just talking to David, wished him happy birthday. He said practice wasn't easy this morning, and he didn't feel that comfortable with the car. It was better in the evening session. So they wasted tire set in Q1.
Yeah.
And he said because that was tricky to compete between Max and Lewis.
Well, he really needed to put in a good lap because he was at risk of being beaten by an AlphaTauri and a Ferrari.
That's right.
Which, considering Ferrari's form, I'm not sure which would have been worse.
So Max, Lewis, and Valtteri will start in the mediums.
Yeah. So I believe everybody, the rest of the top 10 behind then should be starting on the soft.
Yeah, I believe so.
Oh, Max has got a birthday cake.
Oh, look at that.
He's going to throw it in his face? Yeah, he is. Yeah, I knew that was going to happen.
Oh, that's fantastic. Chocolate cake in the face for David. Oh, and then he's chasing Max with it. That's hilarious. I'm sure there'll be a prank coming back at the end of the year between those two. Oh, that's good stuff.
Yeah, there's another sign that Verstappen is in a pretty good place so far to start this year. We're not even one race down and the jokes are already out.
Yeah, exactly. Max not having any of the cake either. Wow, come on.
He's a high-performance athlete. He can't.
Some comments. Alonso beat Ocon. Yeah, Ocon didn't have the greatest Q1 and went out early, but nice lap from Alonso to put him P9.
Yeah, absolutely. It kind of saved what else probably would have been Alpine having two cars out before Q3.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which is not exactly where they want to go. Alonso did say getting to Q3 will be a big challenge. Yeah, he did say that, but at the same time, Renault had a great year last year, and with a couple podiums as well. So Q3 should be on the cards for them in general as a team. If you want to think of them always trying to improve, so it'll be interesting to see how they do the rest of the year. Bahrain might just not be their circuit.
Yeah, I think that they might do a little bit better in the more aero-sensitive circuits. Of course, they're the only team supplied by the Renault power unit, so that could be something that's limiting them as well. But the car just doesn't look as lively as some of the other teams, obviously like Red Bull, for example, and McLaren. But it's only the first race of the year. And just comments, too, guys. I'm just picking up on a couple of the tweets that I showed up on the screen and elsewhere as well. It's really no time to panic in terms of Sergio Perez and Red Bull, as here you could just see Max Verstappen throwing the cake here in David Coulthard's face. But again, as I reiterated just a couple minutes ago, had Red Bull put Checo Perez out on the softer tire, he would have made it into Q3 most likely quite easily. He had a solid first lap, which got deleted, of course, because of track limits. And with changing conditions, and a lot of the other teams went out on the soft tire. McLaren made a very smart decision and said, okay, we're just going to play it safe, go out on the soft. I really don't understand that thinking from Red Bull, which you have a new driver. You know he's not 100% up to speed in terms of one-lap performance. Why not just put him out on the soft tire and have him start an alternate strategy? He could have possibly started third or maybe even fourth, where Leclerc is at the moment, on a different strategy, which I don't understand why Red Bull didn't do that. I really don't. That's a puzzling one for me.
I just don't think they saw the gap being that close between the whole grid. I think they had themselves thinking, okay, it might be McLaren in there with us and Mercedes, but not the rest of the grid. But then, I mean, Ferrari really surprised us all with their pace. So they were fantastic during that whole qualifying session. And, Alonso was kind of up there, not really, but I think the Ferrari is really surprised. And especially, I should mention the AlphaTauris as well. They were really quick. And I don't think that Red Bull's expecting to see that going into Q3. So, I mean, tough luck for Sergio, but it's not the worst scenario. He gets whatever tire he wants in starting 11th and can try and make up some grid places going on the first lap. Just to remember as well that there might be, I don't know, I didn't hear anything, but the stewards were investigating yellow flags after Q1. So I'm not sure if anything will come from that as well.
Yeah, we'll stick around maybe for another 5 or 10 minutes, see if we got anything, but usually they take a little bit longer to decide that as well. But so possibly maybe some changes coming, but this is the provisional starting grid for tomorrow's race. So let's do a quick run through in the order, and then we will wrap up this stream with our thoughts on qualifying and then a look ahead to the race. So guys, stick with us for another 10 minutes or so. Get in any more questions that you have. If you got any predictions for tomorrow's race, what do you expect from the first race of the season tomorrow? Get that into the chat. Thanks very much, everybody, for being with us so far, and hope you stick around for the last couple of minutes or so. Okay, so let me just pull up the final timing screen here so that everybody can follow along with us. So on pole position, we got Max Verstappen in P1, followed by Lewis Hamilton, Valtteri Bottas in third, Charles Leclerc P4, and rounding out the top 5, the AlphaTauri of Pierre Gasly, followed by Daniel Ricciardo and his teammate Lando Norris in 7th, Carlos Sainz in 8th, Fernando Alonso in 9th, and Lance Stroll rounding out the top 10 for Aston Martin. And of course, as we mentioned before, Sergio Perez disappointing, not making his first Q3 with Red Bull. He starts in 11th with the free choice of tires, so watch out for him tomorrow. Antonio Giovinazzi, a very strong session for Alfa Romeo, will start 12th. Yuki Tsunoda, one of 3 rookies this season, will be 13th, lining up in that second AlphaTauri. Kimi Räikkönen in 14th. George Russell making it into Q2. He'll start on 15th. Esteban Ocon, disappointing for Alpine. He's way back down in 16th. Nicholas Latifi in 17th. And if maybe one of the bigger stories of qualifying, Latifi, the Williams, ahead of the Aston Martin of Sebastian Vettel in 18th. Caveat to that, if you weren't with us earlier, he did have issues with yellow flags because of Carlos Sainz's engine issue, so just keep that in mind that it wasn't the true pace. And then rounding out the final 2 spots on the grid, we have the Haas of Mick Schumacher in 19th and Nikita Mazepin in last, who struggled quite mightily in really all 3 sessions of qualifying and free practice. So,
yeah, really disappointed by Mazepin. He wasn't good at all during all three practice sessions and during qualifying as well. He just kept spinning the car. Didn't really find to have any grip. Mick Schumacher had a good start to his F1 career. That Haas is just not up to speed yet, but which is unfortunate for them. But we'll see how he gets more comfortable with an F1 car. And you mentioned Sebastian Vettel, held up by 2 yellow flags. Of course, it was the Mazepin spin in turn 1, and then, as you mentioned, the Sainz engine cutout in turn 8, which Vettel was right behind for that. So a tough one for Sebastian, but we'll see how many places he can make up during the race. I know that he'll be looking to be hungry and to not be down in the grid again.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, as we mentioned too, important to note for the race tomorrow, guys, is that Verstappen, Hamilton, Bottas will be starting on that medium tire, and the rest of the runners in the top 10 will be on the soft. So that should be interesting then for tomorrow's race. Okay, guys, before we leave you, just get in your predictions there for the race. We'll get to some of your chats here, and then we'll wrap it up. So let's see here. We got, just trying to go back, we got a lot of chats here. This is great. So Beer Brewer says, impressed by Gasly. Nice work. Absolutely. He was probably one of the most impressive drivers so far in this qualifying session. Just going down here. Alonso beat Ocon, yet we already covered that. Perez will meet the same fate as Albon's. Yeah, I disagree with that. I think that otherwise, had Red Bull and that track lap time deleted, I think it would have been fine for Sergio Perez. So I'm definitely not panicking yet, and I think that he can still put on a very solid performance in the race. But I just kind of think that teams sort of hung him out to dry a little bit there in not putting him on the softer tire. So I don't definitely not time to panic yet for Sergio Perez.
Definitely not. I mean, during Q2 there, he was going fourth fastest and then got his lap time deleted. So I don't think it's Perez's fault. It's just a tough decision by Red Bull to put him on the mediums. Again, I don't think they were expecting the grid to be as close. Christian Horner is doing an interview with Paul di Resta right now, so it'll be interesting to see what he says about that. I'm sure he'll be asked about that as well. So, he's doing it with Jenson Button, not Paul di Resta.
Yeah, Muse for Games follows up with that. Just say he took a gamble that didn't pay off. Perez has around the same race pace as Max. Albon and Gasly never got close on race pace. And yes, I would agree with that. And that was the big story heading into this first race weekend, was that Perez still had a lot of work to do to get his one-lap pace up to par with Verstappen, but his race pace in testing in the first 2 free practice sessions was actually very solid. So, again, give Perez a couple races. I'm sure that by the time we get to Imola, you'll see him right up there, I think, with Verstappen and the Mercedes as well. So let's see what he can do in the race tomorrow. Let's see what else we got here. Let's hope a Ferrari podium, says Giacomo. Yeah, I hope so. I mean, it would be pretty surprising to see Ferrari on the podium in the first race of the season. But like you mentioned, Tyler, depending on how aggressive Mercedes are into the first corner, Verstappen's not going to give an inch. So we've got a lot of drivers there, like Leclerc, Gasly, and the 2 McLarens, who are ready to pounce on any mistakes at the front.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be interesting to see if there's any contact or any interesting fighting going on between the top 3 up front. I'm just going to go to some comments on Bubala. Says any chances of Gasly being promoted back to Red Bull? I mean, probably not. We mentioned about Perez and how like the issues that Red Bull gave him, not that he gave Red Bull. And also, if anyone's going to get promoted, it's going to be Tsunoda, not Gasly. So
yeah.
Sorry, go Chris.
No, I just wanted to add the Netflix, if you guys haven't seen it, the series Drive to Survive, kind of made it clear that I don't think Gasly will be ever going back to Red Bull.
Yeah, pretty much. It'll be interesting to see where he lands after the end of the season, because I don't think he spends another year at AlphaTauri. But we'll see. We'll see. Always stuff to consider. Jude says Vettel will come through the field for a quality result, I'm hoping. Yeah, we're hoping too. We want to see that Aston Martin do well in the debut. I think Sainz had a problem at the last lap. He was going well. I'm not sure what the timing screens were for Sainz. I wasn't following him too much. I was more focused on Pierre, but will be interesting to see what his telemetry was. Maybe we can go back and cover it in our post-race podcast, which we do after every race. So make sure you tune in for our podcast. Is that true? Perez's race pace being close to Max's? I believe so. I think it will be very close between the two. Perez is a fantastic driver. And we also do cover F2 a little bit, not a lot, but I didn't get to see the race this morning, so hopefully no one spoils it in the chat for me.
Yeah. I did see the result quickly, so I will not spoil it for you.
Great.
Yeah, so very interesting. Okay, so to wrap up then, I want to ask you, what was one standout for you in qualifying, and what was one disappointment in qualifying, and then we'll get into our race thoughts.
Okay, so I guess one surprise, I think I have to give it to the Ferraris. They were really impressive during Q3. I mean, Charles is doing an interview right now with Sky Sports. I'll have to see what he says after the live stream here. But, I mean, Sainz and Leclerc look very, very comfortable and very good during the whole qualifying session. So that's a real positive for the Tifosi fans and for Ferrari to try and come back up the grid, after a tough 2020 season. Biggest disappointments, I want to say it's a tie between Alpine and the Red Bull strategy. I think that's a tie for me there. I was expecting Alpine to be a little bit better than what they were, especially Ocon. I thought they would both get out of Q1 into Q2, but no, they had Ocon finish 16th and Alonso will start 9th, which is solid for Alonso, but not in general for the whole Alpine team.
Yeah, I agree with you there, and I kind of echo some of the same ones. Obviously, a big positive or one big surprise for me was Pierre Gasly. And I know that he was going to be strong, but I didn't think he was going to be that strong. I mean, looking at his lap, 129.8, And then you look at, he was very close to the Mercedes for a little while, 129.5 of Valtteri Bottas in the Mercedes. So kind of around a gap of, 3/10? That I honestly did not expect. So I think that seeing Pierre Gasly and how good he was in all 3 qualifying sessions was a positive surprise. I got actually a couple of negatives. I echo the Red Bull one because that to me, I still is a head scratcher and a bit frustrating for me that they didn't help Perez out in that regard. So that's one. I'll also mention McLaren too. I expected them to be best of the rest. We were talking about it in our pre-show, and they only managed 6th and 7th, which is very interesting. That I did not see coming, and just shows you how great that lap was from Charles Leclerc. And we'll see how that pecking order falls in the race tomorrow and then throughout the rest of the season. And then, of course, Aston Martin, which we kind of expected, though, them to be a little bit disappointing. Again, Vettel had the issues with the yellow flag, so that's a caveat. But I would say those are sort of my surprises and disappointments. But overall, I think it was a very exciting qualifying session, and I hope that everybody at home really enjoyed it as well. And, so we got some of just a couple more chats here. Jay says, thanks, guys. Really appreciate this. Shout out from the Philippines. Oh, that's awesome, man.
That's very cool.
Yeah, all the way from the Philippines. That's really, really cool. Thanks so much for joining us, Jay. We appreciate it. Appreciate everybody here. The super chats from a couple of you, which you guys can still submit a couple if you want in these last couple minutes, but it's not necessary. We appreciate the support we've gotten so far. Let's see. We got Tsunoda was amazing, and yes, the Ferraris, Alpine, and Aston, especially Vettel, were disappointments. Yeah, so just basically echoing our final thoughts. Okay, Tyler, before we wrap up and let everybody get on with their Saturdays, race predictions for tomorrow.
Race predictions. It'll be interesting to see. We saw how much of a trouble the wind was when it picked up during this qualifying session, because it was about 3 kilometers an hour for Q1 and ended up at 18 or 19 kilometers an hour for Q3. So it'll be interesting to see what the setups are going to be like. Maybe that hurt the McLarens and they're going to struggle in the race because of that extra wind. They were good in Q1, but Q3 was when they struggled. So that wind was maybe a big issue for them. Predictions. Are we doing? What do you want? Podiums, or do you want? What do you want for predictions?
You can go specific, or you can just give me some general expectations from the race.
Okay. I'll say. Well, now I think double points finish for Ferrari, which would be great for them. Hamilton first, Verstappen second, and I'm gonna say Pierre Gasly third.
Oh.
I'm gonna go a little bit off the board, I think, and Bottas fourth, I guess. But but yeah, I think I don't think we'll have a 2 Mercedes Red Bull top 3. I think there's going to be one surprise in there tomorrow, just because of the way qualifying and how close the grid is. I could see that maybe we have a little bit of a curveball get thrown at us, which would be fun. I mean, that's what we always want to see.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm very interested. Sorry, were you going to say something?
Oh, I was going to say, what are your predictions?
Yeah, no, much of the same, but I'm interested to see how the tires are going to work, with these new Pirelli tires for this season. How will they work in racing conditions? And that's really going to be the battle at the front, and Verstappen and Hamilton. That's really what I think is going to be excellent, is to see those two going head-to-head into the first corner and then hopefully being able to follow each other closely throughout the rest of the race and really go head-to-head. I think also Valtteri Bottas is going to be under a lot of pressure from the drivers behind. He's really not happy with the setup and the balance of his car, especially in race pace as well. So I think that he's going to have some big work ahead of him. And that would be amazing if we could see somebody like a Gasly or even a Ferrari up on the podium. Yeah. I think it's going to be an extremely close race tomorrow. And we're really just looking at the gaps, guys, in the middle of your screen here. It's so close, really all throughout the whole grid, the top 10 and then further down as well from 11th to 20th. So it's going to be an extremely close race. Teams are going to need to be on the ball in terms of pit stops, because with the gaps so close and the teams seeming to be even closer this year, you really can't afford any mistakes. So I'm hoping that we get an absolute classic Bahrain Grand Prix tomorrow.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun. I'm excited for the race. You're saying what time you guys starting tomorrow? We won't be doing a live stream for the race, but you can make sure if you hit that subscribe button, you'll see all of our post-race podcasts, which we post after every race, and all other content. So make sure you tune in for our post-race podcast. We always have a lot of fun with those, eh?
Yeah, they're probably one of, I think they are the most enjoyable thing that we do on the channel for us personally. So that you should probably expect that to be out probably around Tuesday or Wednesday. I think, Tyler, you were mentioning that you were off on Monday or Tuesday. I can't remember.
Both days.
Both days. Okay, excellent.
And extra nice.
Nice. So, yeah, we'll get that done on Monday, Tuesday. We have actually a pretty long gap after the Bahrain Grand Prix until the second race, which is in Imola on April the 18th. So you should expect that out midweek. Depending on what happens in the race, if something crazy happens in the race, then I'll try and put out some sort of a little feature video on a certain aspect of the race, hopefully on Monday, just so you guys have some instant reaction. And then, of course, we'll have the full podcast out midweek, which is going to do an excellent breakdown with myself, Tyler, and hopefully Shaker as well, where we, kind of break down everything from the race, show you guys things you might have missed on social media, and just give our general thoughts on that. I think we've managed to catch up with all the comments here. Muse for games.
Just one more. Yeah, Muse for games, as you were about to say. Hamilton, Verstappen collide. Bottas gets a puncture, and Leclerc's engine blows up. Gasly takes the win. I mean, that would be a wild race, and I think would be if you can bet on that. I mean, throw a couple dollars down because I think the odds on that would be wild.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's a good point that Muse for Games brings up. We did see with Carlos Sainz had some sort of an engine issue. So maybe just a little bit of a concern if you're a Ferrari fan that there might be some sort of a gremlin there that hopefully they'll be able to get sorted out between now and tomorrow's race. But you never know, right? It is Ferrari at the end of the day.
You never know. And of course, that engine issue came out of turn 2 on the curbs.
Yes.
So vibrations may be an issue. Maybe Ferrari will be instructed to stay off the curbs during the race. You never know. So we'll see how that turns out during the race. And Parshant says Max will dominate tomorrow. Well, we'll see. I don't know about dominate. I don't think anyone will dominate in general this season. I think it's going to be pretty close as the timing screens showed us so far in this qualifying period. I mean, it's been a very interesting qualifying.
Yeah, I think that's really been the theme so far that I think we're going to see this season is the fact that it's going to be extremely close all the way through. We're not going to see either team dominate, whether Red Bull is the better team at the moment or whether it's Mercedes. I don't think either of them are necessarily going to dominate, which is kind of exactly what we want to see, right? We want to see a close championship finally, which we haven't had in many, many years.
Yeah, that'd be exactly what we want. We almost had it in 2019, 2018, both
2018.
Years. 2018 Vettel, yeah. They're all mixing together now.
Yeah, exactly.
But we didn't get it, unfortunately. So hopefully we have it this season, and that would be nice.
Yeah. And yeah, guys, have faith in Sergio Perez. I don't think he'll get dropped. That's again, I think it's more the team that kind of screwed him over a little bit in terms of strategy. Before then, his pace was actually pretty solid. Up there with Verstappen as well. So I expect him to have a good race. But Tyler, any final thoughts then to wrap up this qualifying live stream?
No, I just want to say thanks to everyone for the support. I mean, the super chats were very nice and very appreciative. We appreciate all the support we guys get. I mean, we hit over 200 viewers a couple times during the stream, which is phenomenal. So thank you guys all for watching. We'll hopefully do a lot more of these qualifying streams down the future. But at the same time, if you want more quality content, make sure you hit that subscribe button and follow us along. We'll have our podcast, like we said, after the race, and some more awesome content coming along. The more support we get, the more it pushes us. We're past 5,000 subscribers now, so should be a great year for the Backmarkers F1 community, and hopefully we can bring you guys some entertaining stuff during 2021.
Yeah, and final comment here. Thanks for the coverage. Shout out from India. Hello to you. From Ottawa, Canada to India. Thank you very much for joining us. So just quickly, you can follow us then on our social media pages. We got our Twitter here at TBMF1 Show. Guys, this is where you can stay up to date with all of our latest content updates. It's where we post any new videos that we have or just any really quick thoughts about anything that's going on currently at the moment in the F1 world. As Tyler mentioned, we really appreciate all the super chats and the support. If you guys want to continue to support our channel directly through donation, you could do so through the links in the video description found below. You could do so at buymeacoffee.com. You can support just a couple dollars a month or just a one-time donation. Anything really is greatly appreciated, but more of that enables us to do more fan giveaways, for example, and really just put out more content as we've been doing in the last couple months. And also we're on alternative platforms like Odyssey, for example. So we're not just on YouTube. So if you're not familiar with Odyssey, give it a check. All those links are found in the video description below, and you can follow us there as well. But I think that will do it then for this 2021 Bahrain Grand Prix qualifying live stream. I really thoroughly enjoyed this session and just a live stream in general, and I think we're definitely going to do more of these, try and figure out a schedule that we can get out to you guys and do more for some of the races that are a bit more friendlier in the Eastern time zone. But definitely we appreciate everybody joining here today and making this stream go by really fast, but really enjoyable as well.
Yeah, it was fantastic. Of course, yeah, the Eastern time zone. We are in Ottawa, Canada. So if you're wondering where we are, so the couple of those China races that are 3 a.m. Those are tough for us to get up for that. So, but the ones that are friendly and that we can do, we'll definitely be doing these. We had a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys, for everybody that was in the chat, comment some of your more race predictions down below if we missed you. We'll try and reply back to you in the comments section of this video. Until next week and all of our recap videos of the Bahrain Grand Prix, we hope you have a great Saturday and a great Sunday to follow for race day. I think we're in store for an excellent race, and I think we're really going to get something special for the 2021 season. For Tyler McDonald, I've been Chris Cato here on the Backmarkers F1 Show channel. Thank you so much for the support. We hope you continue following us, and until next time, it's bye for now. All right, I think we are off the air.
Yeah, I just have the live stream up to make sure we are.
Yeah, it looks like it's going.
No, we're still on air.
Oh, there we go.